How are you? Good to see you. Good afternoon. We've had a wonderful summit here today so far. Lots of great speakers, lots of good information and inspiration. My name is Marilyn Brown, and I am with the University of Hawaii at Hilo, retired. Yeah, I want to welcome you and thanks for coming to this, what I think is an important topic, careers and education. I'll present some on education, and after me will be Denise Pacheco of the Department of Labor Workforce Development, who'll talk to us about the American Jobs Center. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Careers Committee. We're one of the, I think, longer established committees, and I think that's due to the importance of employment, and that's kind of what it's all about. Can I have the next slide? Okay, our purpose is to reduce recidivism through reducing employment barriers for people who come out of the system, justice impacted individuals, by providing support for job seekers and increasing employment opportunities, as well as opportunities for education and training. I'm going to talk mainly about higher education today, because that's kind of what I know. I'll take the next slide. Okay. Our committee is comprised of multiple agencies and organizations that help support reentry through education and training, as well as employment services. These are, I think I have most all of our organizations here, and I'm glad to say that we have a number of people who are from these organizations who are on this committee, and we'll get to talk to them later, I think. So workforce development, of course, Hawaii Community College is a very important member of this initiative, and the others. So we have a representation from most of the sectors who are stakeholders in helping people with employment and education. Next slide. Hi. Our committee has had some solid accomplishments. We've developed a RAC card, which provides information for people who are coming out of the system, and there are resources on that RAC card for education, training, employment-related services. And I guess there's one, if you look in the folder that was given to you on registration, there's a copy of our RAC card. We developed a survey earlier this year to be given to clients of drug court, and I want to thank Grayson, Iolani, and Dawn for actually giving this survey to some 20 clients. One of the things I really like about this committee, you know, along with the people who serve on it, is we're very research driven, and we're hoping that the results of the survey will provide a basis for our strategies going forward. We participated in the 2023 Pu'uhonua at Hawaii Community College. I'll talk a little bit about that, but this is an event that has been organized by the college's Admin Justice Club that provides support and networking and inspiration for justice-involved students and their families. I'll take the next slide. Okay, I'm going to talk a little generally about higher education and the justice impacted population. According to a research by the Prison Policy Institute, next slide please. 27% of formerly incarcerated people face unemployment. We know that. This is nationally. I have a feeling it may be higher in our own community. People with low levels of formal education have even higher unemployment rates. And people of color who have left the system, who have low educational attainment, have a number of strikes against them, even more strikes. Nationally, formerly incarcerated people are nearly twice as likely, next slide, to have no high school credential at all. The school to prison pipeline, do you know what that, have you heard that term before, that concept, school to prison pipeline? young people today who are in mainly our public schools are often subject to discipline in the form of they're calling law enforcement. These are issues, you know, behavioral issues that kids have always had. In my day, the police were not called, but today they are. And this can start a snowball, a problem. If the kid gets services, you know, fine. If the young person doesn't get services, doesn't get support, they may very well end up leaving school, getting involved with the juvenile justice system, which, as you know, is often just a gateway to being in the adult system. So we have a lot of school failure, which is also a determinant of adult crime. So only about half of these folks end up with a high school diploma or a GED. This is nationally. Formerly incarcerated people are 8 times less likely than the rest of us to get a college degree. Now, what's the local picture? Those of you who've tried to collect data in the state of Hawaii may well know that it's a difficult proposition, but I'm going to quote from a few local studies. The first one is, next slide. We have a few local studies. They all seem to reflect the national data. A study by Brown and Bloom, 60% of formerly incarcerated Native Hawaiian formerly incarcerated Native Hawaiian women had less than 12 years of education. And that often means no meaningful job experience that goes along with it. This study that I cited earlier by student interns, these are students of social work who were placed in the drug court of the Third Circuit Drug Court, 25% of these clients finished up to the 11th grade, 40% finished to 12th grade, 20% had GED, and a quarter did have some college education or post-high school education, but we don't know the nature of that. How many courses did they get a degree? Okay, next slide. To go back a little further in higher education policy in prisons, college courses in prisons declined when Pell Grants were rescinded in 1994. There was an omnibus crime bill that was signed, and I guess policymakers thought that people in prison ought to be punished just a little bit more by not giving them Pell Grants. So this really kind of stopped colleges offering college programs in prison in their tracks because there was virtually no funding for it. Prison curricula then, now the college professors are all out of the prisons. A curricula developed in prison really was aimed at soft skills, not so much at credentials, obtaining credentials that would help people get jobs when they left prison. And these courses were often developed by staff who were trained to do it. Some of the colleges hung on with grant money, soft money, maybe some state money, and continued to offer programs, college degrees in prison. And the people who took them actually did very well. State spending, municipal spending decreased dramatically in the last decade or so. So even those prison-based curricula, you know, weren't being taught; they were being dropped. And all of this was despite the fact that college education in prison has been shown to dramatically reduce recidivism or a return to crime. There is some good news. Next slide. Okay. So policy on the national level has changed for the better. There was a time when people who were convicted of certain drug offenses couldn't get Pell Grants, they couldn't get work study. This is when they're out of prison. They couldn't get work study, they couldn't get student loans for, you know, maybe a year, 2 years. You know, it wasn't a lifetime restriction, but, you know, they made it difficult for them. So that has now gone away, and people can get, you know, these kinds of educational benefits regardless. Pell Grants for prisoners have been reinstated. That's very good news since 2020. And I expect now to see many more partnerships develop and grow between our correctional facilities and colleges and universities, so that the ones that were flowering before Pell Grants were rescinded, you know, can be reinstated. I would love to see it on this island. Yeah, so I want to give a shout out now to Hawaii's community colleges, which really have been innovative in offering programs to people who are still incarcerated. We heard about some of them this morning and this afternoon. Kapiolani Community College, Chaminade has been, you know, putting programs on in prisons, and we have graduates who are out now who are working in those fields that they've been trained for. Okay, next slide. Okay, what are the benefits of college? I think of these benefits as the same benefits that all college students get, right? Because nowadays, it's kind of a developmental pathway to adulthood, isn't it? You know, we become independent, we meet new people, new ideas, we get a better sense of ourselves. People who are incarcerated all need those things. They all need those things, and they can all benefit from them. College for justice-involved individuals helps reduce the barriers to employment through providing a credential. Social capital, right? Something that we all have, right? Do we have positive social capital with beneficial networks, or do we have negative social capital, you know, through associations with, you know, people who are, you know, breaking the law, right? College offers access to a different form of social capital that maybe these students have not had access to before. Because don't forget, they come from backgrounds, perhaps, mostly I would say, that are poverty-stricken, poor education, poor services, right? So they haven't been in contact with institutions that allow them access to positive social capital. Gains in self-efficacy and confidence. I see this in, you know, non-justice involved students as well as justice involved students. Everybody needs this. Justice impacted individuals adopt more normative social networks, as we say in sociology, in place of these negative associations they may have had before. They gain a new positive social identity, right, as students. They don't have to come into the classroom and say, well, I'm a felon, or, you know, I'm a convict, you know, I was arrested and incarcerated. They don't have to say that. They can be, in the eyes of the institution, another student. And I think really that's the wonderful thing about it. It offers a new access to a new place in life, a new identity. I will say that, you know, I've had a number of formerly incarcerated students in my classes over the years, and oftentimes they do share with the other students. I teach classes like juvenile delinquency, criminology, and so on. But these students can teach my other students something that I can't teach them. They have that lived experience, and they're generous enough to share it with the other students, and it's very, very powerful for everyone involved. College degrees help reduce stigma. We heard about stigma this morning. We know about that, how deadly that can be, and I think especially for women who are formerly incarcerated. Provide evidence of desistance. A college degree is a powerful statement about what somebody has done in their life to turn their life around, right? Desisted from the things that got them incarcerated in the first place. Colleges and universities offer specialized counseling and support services, including housing that's included in their tuition. We have counseling services, we have healthcare services, we have food service, right? All of those benefits that were available to you when you were in college are available to them, and they're very, very much needed. Okay. JII students can get work-study jobs. I mentioned that earlier, that's been reinstated. Jobs, right? We're going to be talking about employment in a minute. Work-study jobs give people who may not have had any meaningful job experience access to, you know, working 9 to 5 or, you know, doing work they haven't done before. They can gain confidence. We have internship programs. Students who are formerly incarcerated can be placed in agencies, and that's one of the really most effective ways of getting a job in our community of the Big Island, is to start meeting people in the field, and they can do that too. Hawaii Community College. I talked to, well, I have a number of colleagues there, of course, and we talk, but I had the privilege of talking with Wailani Walker, who's a counselor at Hawaii Community College who works both on the west side and the east side. And he's a counselor for special populations. Who are the special populations? Well, veterans, formerly incarcerated students. So he, you know, he's very experienced in onboarding these students, you know, provides them with all of the information they need, the confidence to take that first step, which is scary, and provides a soft handoff to program advisors like my faculty colleagues at Hawaii Community College. Administration of Justice program. I mentioned earlier the Pu'uhonua. This is a club by the admin, I think it's the Admin Justice Club. They can get together for support. They have a big event usually every year for justice-involved students and their families. They normally have a panel of formerly incarcerated individuals who share their experience of incarceration as well as becoming students, and what that has done for them is very, very inspiring. So last slide. If you'd like to get involved with the Careers Committee, we meet the second Wednesday of every month from 9 to 10 o'clock. And you can just email Terry Lee at this email address if you'd like to get the meeting notices. Okay, well, that's my presentation, and I'm going to turn it over now to Denise Pacheco of the Department of Labor Workforce Development.
So I'm trying to see where is the best place to stand. So I'm going to try it from here. You think this might work?
I like that place.
Yeah. So again, my name is Denise Pacheco, and I am with the Department of Labor Workforce Development Division. And what I did want to share is that both myself and Marilyn are board members with Going Home Hawaii, and so we really have a stake in making sure and a responsibility to make sure that our justice-involved individuals are able to come sit down. Are able to get the services that they need in our community. And so for this session, I'd like to share a little bit about the Department of Labor, and then we will transition to the services at the American Job Center. So aloha and welcome to the Workforce Development Division. Workforce Development Division with the Department of Labor, its primary goal is to provide high-quality workforce services to Hawaii residents and businesses in the spirit of aloha and laulima. Our division provides the following core services to job seekers and employers: free job referral, search assistance, both for job seekers and employers, develop and maintain partnerships within the private and nonprofit, public sector, meaning with stakeholders, all to work towards advancement in technology and other issues facing our economy. Collaborate with educators, employers, and labor unions to identify basic skills of all workforce entrants. And then again, to provide consultation and support services to both our employers and laid off individuals. So Some of the partners with Workforce Development Division include the Department of Human Services, Department of Education, the University of Hawaii, sister colleges, the Workforce Development Council, local community municipals, and other organizations such as Goodwill Industries and other one-stop shop employment people in our community. And the main model that we use is that we utilize assessing their interests, exploring the options that are available in our community, and then taking action. And that has been a big word that we've heard today, right? Is that we need to take action. And so I feel that with this model that we are doing with the Department of Labor and all the partners, we are doing just that for our justice-involved individuals. Next. So, Department of Labor provides individualized career service for justice-involved individuals. And the way in which we do that is through comprehensive employment services such as case management, including skills assessments, one-to-one counseling, working with individuals who walk in, like our furlough individuals, or working with individuals to telephone and other virtual means. Assist customers, justice-involved customers, in applying directly to hundreds of jobs through the HireNet system and other local and other job boards. Create and update resumes, so the basic soft skills that we work with them on. And then also provide unlimited access to work with employment counselors that are there and waiting to work with them. Develop individualized job search career plans, and then promote trainings through the Goodwill Industries and other entities like Coursera, Allison, and so forth. We will hear a short bit about Goodwill Industries later because they do amazing work in our communities. So, in addition to that, we also provide subsidized employment opportunities through our Senior Community Service Employment Program, which is for 55 years and older. And you might say, well, how does that service justice-involved individuals? Well, I will tell you that we do have justice-involved individuals in our CSEP program, and they are amazing. Their work ethics, top-notch, and they make the program a success. We also have other programs that are subsidized that you'll hear a little bit about soon in the presentation, our Hele Imua internship programs and our Quest programs. These are programs that can bring on board justice-involved individuals. We promote apprenticeship programs and other broadband system programs. We assist with housing, utilities, FAFSA, health insurance, financial literacy, and referrals to organizations to limit barriers. So an individual that may walk in for services may come in and say, oh, well, I need to look for housing, or I need SNAP benefits. So we don't tell them, well, I'm sorry, we just work with the employment factor, or we say, no, come in, sit down, and let us help you, because we need to start eliminating barriers so that they can be successful in their employment goals. And when I say veteran priority of service, what I'm really talking about is, of course, we offer a veteran priority of service, and we do have individuals that are justice involved who are veterans. And so we make sure that we really provide the services that they may need, connect them to resources in the veteran community as well. Since COVID, we're really getting back into the job fairs, the career fairs on a statewide level. Hopefully not too much of the virtual job fairs anymore. We love the face-to-face interaction. It's always the best, where we get to talk story with them and learn about what they're interested in. If that doesn't work, we also do virtual hubs, which is tools for job search, workshops, networking, internet, emails, and so forth. And what we found during the COVID pandemic was a lot of our community, although we may have thought that they were computer literate or had all the tools that they needed to navigate the virtual system, they did not. And so we really went back to basics with this. And then I want to talk a little bit about the services that we provide to employers, because our employers are key to the success in our justice-involved population. So we do on-the-job training programs, not necessarily through the Department of Labor, although we do the internships, but agencies like Goodwill Industries do the on-the-job training, and they'll speak a little bit about that. Work opportunity tax credit is very important for private and for-profit businesses. If they hire targeted groups, they can get a tax credit. And I believe for Justice Involved, the work opportunity tax credit for an employer works if they are hired within 1 year of being released. I'll share a little bit about federal bonding, a few slides down. Apprenticeship programs is also available for employers through sourced registered programs. We always promote HireNet Hawaii. HireNet Hawaii is a state search engine tool that was designed for employers and job seekers to navigate the system, look for employment, and be matched. And then, of course, subsidized training for already employed individuals on what we call upskilling. So an employer may say, hey, I need a class on food safety, and so the Department of Labor assists in helping to subsidize the payment so that individuals who are already employed can start to get some upskilling at that workplace. And then, of course, rapid response, layoff aversion is working with employers to make sure that we don't get to the point where they need to be laid off. So I know we heard a little bit from Dr. Kimo Alameda about, working with employers to hire our Justice Involved. And from the Department of Labor standpoint, I do want to share that our community Hawaii, we have so many employers that are awesome and great about hiring our Justice Involved population. And so I wanted to make that clear that we do have jobs that are available for our Justice Involved. And I think that what we want to look at is that we want to make sure that the jobs that our Justice Involved individuals are going to or being referred to, that they are at livable wages. And that is really what is the most important thing. Because not often can an individual survive off of $12 an hour or soon to be $14 an hour, especially with the cost of living in Hawaii. So I did want to share that we did adopt this model from the National Institute of Correction, and this kind of speaks exactly to what we were talking about earlier in trying to get employers to pay higher wages, work with our Justice Involved. And so using labor market information, what we do is we target Justice Involved individuals for high growth occupations by providing soft skills, industry standard trainings, and certifications. And again, this was from the National Institute of Corrections. 4 key processes that include using the labor market information to identify high growth in demand jobs, identify the employers in our community, so the HPMs, the hospitals, different entities in our community, identifying them, seeing what their needs are, what are their expectations, and how can we get a placement there. And then we work with the Justice Involved individual through industry standard trainings. That's where your community college comes into play, your occupational skills training programs that we have in our community. We have all of this, people. We have all of this. We can get them trained and we can get them placed in these high demand jobs. And then, of course, the 4th thing is to facilitate the conversation with stakeholders to provide critical resources and support services so this can happen. So this is, like I said, has been done in our states, and we have been doing this for years in some capacity or another, but it's putting it into process. So let me take a deep breath and move along. I'm kind of going a bit too fast. Hold on 1 second. So what is important to share and what I wanted to focus on today, especially since we are here for our Justice Involved population, is the federal bonding program. Because believe it or not, oftentimes a lot of employers do not know about the federal bonding program or our Justice Involved individuals. And it really can be of benefit in certain circumstances. So the Department of Labor received a grant for fidelity bonding, and basically the purpose of the grant was to improve employment outcomes for justice-involved individuals by using bonds as a hiring tool. Also, to give employers the peace of mind that they can safely provide all individuals job opportunities with limited risk. And then, of course, the purpose of the grant was to outreach to the different employers in our communities and let them know about the benefits of fidelity bonds. So a fidelity bond is a form of insurance protection that covers the policyholder or the employer for a loss caused by a one-time act of dishonesty of a specific employee. Bonds are issued for a 6-month period. After the 6 months, if no claim is paid, the employer may request another 6-month bond extension. After a bond is issued, the bond is mailed directly to the employer. So the eligibility and coverage amounts for federal bonding is that an individual who is usually unbondable through the regular commercial bonding system because of a criminal record. The employee or the worker must be 18 years of age or older and must be paid wages that have federal taxes deducted. Each bond is for $5,000 and the max would be $25,000. And we do have individuals here in Hawaii County that do make use of the federal bond. And it is a great tool for them when approaching employers to say, hey, if you have some current concerns about hiring me as a justice-involved individual, we have this opportunity with federal bonding. So actually, we've worked with individuals who have used that pitch when looking for work. And we have businesses in Hilo especially that have taken advantage of this. So how are bonds issued? So employers make a job offer with a scheduled start date of work, and then they would fill out the requesting a bond form, and then of course anyone can help assist at the American Job Center or Department of Labor with this request. So a justice-involved individual can walk in and say, hey, can I get some information about federal bonding? I want to make use of this. I want to pitch this to employers. And oftentimes it's a reverse referral. We'll have an employer that says, I want to hire this individual. I want to make sure, can I get a federal bond on this particular person? And sometimes it all depends on the type of job that it is. So when requesting a federal bond, you can either send it to myself, Denise Pacheco, my address, or our Oahu administrative person, Jamie Tabangi. So I kind of wanted to just close by saying that to succeed in an increasingly competitive global market, Hawaii must focus on its most important natural resource, its people. By providing our local workforce with the necessary skills and opportunities, Hawaii will be able to meet future challenges. So at this time, I wanted to share a little bit about the American Job Center. And I want to introduce Kevin Aki, who will be sharing the portion of the American Job Center. The American Job Center has been an amazing opportunity for all community members to take advantage of and to come in. And Kevin has been with the American Job Center for, I believe, 7 years? He's been the face of the American Job Center, and he does an amazing job there. So please.
Aloha everyone, and thank you all for being here. Just to break the ice, because I'm really nervous, I just want to give a brief description of who I am and what I do here at the American Job Center. So in my current position, I work with the County of Hawaii Research and Development. The County of Hawaii Research and Development oversees the American Job Center Hawaii and the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act grants. So it's kind of the fiscal body for the grants. that will oversee the Job Center and its programs within it. A little bit about me. I have been, and I am, the living, breathing success story of the Department of Labor. I'm its living success story, which is why I'm up here presenting today for the American Job Center and its focus on the workforce. I have been with the workforce program since I was 17, and I started off as an assistant at the American Job Center, and now I hold a management and administrative position, and on my way to graduating with a master's in engineering. So what is the American Job Center? The American Job Centers, also called One Stop or AJCs, are a unique collaboration of state and local organizations addressing the workforce development needs of Hawaii. For the island of Hawaii, the County of Hawaii Research and Development is the one-stop operator that provides oversight. For the American Job Center, there are currently 4 throughout the state of Hawaii, 1 for each county. I just want to specifically point out that for Hawaii County, we service all of Hawaii County. So our office is located in Hilo, but if services are required in Kona or say Ocean View or Waimea, we can provide that service whether it be in person, over telephone, or virtual through Zoom or Microsoft Teams or that type of platforms. This next slide is a short video of a commercial that the state of Hawaii did for advertisement purposes. I believe it was showcased on PBS also, about the different services that the American Job Center offers. In high school, I was often bullied, so I had dropped out in 10th grade. I was homeless. My family was low income. Through a partnership with the American Job Center Hawaii and the Goodwill Industries of Hawaii's Olikahana program, I was able to earn my competency-based diploma and go through workforce training. They had taught me life skills. I didn't know how to write checks, how to find employment, review resumes, and I didn't have much self-confidence.
The American Job Center, through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, uses federal funds for occupational training and skills building. We also use it to pay for tuition and books, and we use it to serve the underemployed and the unemployed. He came in as a work experience student, and from there he wanted to learn everything he could. He offered to volunteer outside of his job.
Today, I have a full-time job with the County of Hawaii's Rapid Response Program, helping others who are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. For me, I enjoy the work I do. It's a joy for when I go out into the public and the community.
You know, I'm so proud of Kevin. He has come a long way from the kid who's being bullied to this young man who's just blossomed.
The American Job Center is actually a one-stop center for job seekers and employers.
Beginning, sorry. Everybody take a breath.
I know, stretch.
I have a question while you're just leaving the name off.
So like we,
Talking about justice involves folks, like, so we got Hawaii County, like, the agency community. And what should they do? Just come to you after they get out, or?
Yeah, so down at the American Job Center, we used to always have, I don't know about now because I no longer place there, but we used to always have the furloughed people who used to come in,
Yes.
search for employment. And I'll speak later about it in the slides also, but how it ties in, especially with the American Job Center, is it's open to anyone. So whether it be, and this is perfect, so whether it be if they're disabled, justice involved, homeless, they're able to come to the American Job Center to use our resources, see what programs are available to them. Most of the time they're going to be eligible for it because they just came out, or they're looking to go onto parole, such as our furlough. But it's essentially a resource for them as a stepping stone. The American Job Center, as I stated before, is a one-stop. So it's a collaboration between many different organizations, not only state and county, but we also have Goodwill Industries of Hawaii. We have Kumukahi Health that always comes down to our offices, and they're looking to be placed there every so often. We have Alulike, the Department of Human Services, Unemployment Insurance. I cannot think with all the eyes staring on me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You're doing great.
But, yeah, it's, as I stated, it's a resource for people to come to so that they have a stepping stone. So that at least when they're let out into the public, they know where to go. We also, and I think a big part is we're also connected with Office of Housing and their FSS and Section 8 programs, so they have access to learn about that also and see if they're eligible for those services. Yeah. Next slide. So at the American Job Center, job seekers and people of the public can also have access to employment counselors. They can learn about workshops and employment events. They can learn about internships, such as Quest and Hele Imua, which we'll be talking about later in this presentation. They can learn about employment training through the Goodwill Industries of Hawaii's Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, occupational skills training, and of course, because we're federally funded, veterans receive priority of service, and they can also receive different career services through our various partners. The Department of Labor is currently accepting applications for the Hele Imua State Internships Program. It's a 12 to 24 week internship, and the purpose is to provide exposure to various in-demand state occupations. This particular slide is located within your folders that you have on your desk. If you didn't receive one, you can come to the front here and get a folder if you'd like. For Hele Imua, there is one eligibility requirement. It is that you either recently graduated within a year from college or expected to graduate within a year from college. So either or. So either recently graduated or about to graduate within a year.
yeah, and I would also like to add, Kevin, if I may, that the Hele Imua program really is a program that came out of the state legislators to address the shortage of state workers in our state, which is, if I'm not mistaken, close to 4,000 vacancies. And so because of that, it has been broadened, so I hope you don't mind me just adding. So they now broaden the scope to be anyone that is graduated from high school and on that can potentially get into the Hele Imua internship program. And our justice involved can also apply, and we do have individuals that do have justice involvement that are interning in our state departments.
So it says DLIR, criminal history record clearance?
Yes.
What does that mean?
So they have to fill out, like all of us who may work for the state or county, we have to do a criminal background check. So yes, that is a factor of eligibility, but depending on the charge, they can still get into the program. Oftentimes what our HR will require is that they write a letter that accompanies the background check. Now, I'm not saying that every single justice-involved individual will be a match, but there is a process, and I do want to share that we do have justice-involved individuals that are interning.
This next internship opportunity is QUEST, or known as the Quality Jobs Equity Strategy and Training Program, or QUEST for short. QUEST offers financial assistance and career support to people returning to the workforce in a post-pandemic environment, so pre-COVID-19. QUEST gives job seekers the chance to earn while you earn. Partner programs at the American Job Center can provide them with training, certifications, and other resources to make job seekers a more competitive individual. For the QUEST program, you work one-on-one with career counselors to create a strong resume, sharpen your interviewing skills, and connect with partner career opportunities. For the QUEST and Here Imua internship programs, you can contact 808-961-2860, which is also located on top of the flyers. This next program, and I could go off on this one, but I'm gonna hold off on a bit because we're gonna bring up one of our partner programs, Suniva, with Goodwill Industries of Hawaii, but it's the Adult and Dislocated Worker Services Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, so much acronyms, or we call it WIOA for short. The Goodwill Industries Program, or Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, can provide education, career and training, free services for those eligible, such as CDL, commercial driver's licensing, CNA, certified nurse's aid, or security guard card certification. Another big opportunity, not only for our employers, or is also for our job seekers, is HireNet Hawaii. HireNet Hawaii is the state resource that provides a variety of employment services 24/7. Job seekers can post resumes, view jobs, assess their skills and abilities. They can view labor market information so they can make informed decisions about what they want to go to work in. And they can also locate suitable trainings throughout the state of Hawaii. HireNet Hawaii is also for employers. They can post job openings, search through resumes, access industry statistics, and receive direct referrals through the Workforce Development Commission staff. So for the American Job Center, we are located at 88 Kanoilehua Avenue, Suite A204 upstairs. Some of you may know it as the Old Food Factory, right behind Ken's House of Pancakes. And that is our contact information, which is also located in the folders for you. At this time, I want to bring up Suniva Pota with Goodwill Industries.
We're gonna wait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll bring you up shortly.
Yeah.
Is that the end of your presentation?
Yes, that would be all for me. Thank you.
So we did want to open up if any of you have any questions regarding our presentations before we ask for some of our guest speakers in the audience. So any questions?
Can I ask a question about the bonds? So those are zero cost bonds too, or does the employer pay it?
Zero. It was a federal grant that the Department of Labor received. Eventually one day we'll run out of that grant, but for now we do have funding, and I encourage anyone to make use of the federal bond.
Thank you.
Any GED programs?
GED programs, yes, that would be with Goodwill Industries and also with the Waipahu Community School for Adults. We will have Goodwill Industries share a little bit in just a moment, and I think you'll get your answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions for Marilyn or Kevin? We have some time, so please feel free to ask.
I don't get the bond, like, so if I was an employer and and then somebody, a justice involved person came to me and they said, oh, you know what, Tone, if you give me a job, I have this bond, this federal bond that qualifies. So as the employer, we fill out the form.
Yes, you could. But what would happen prior to that is that probably the individual will say, I am bondable. And they'll give you a brochure. And well, that's how the process would work. Like they would have come, talk story with us, in which any justice-involved individual, we always talk to them about federal bonding, especially if they're having difficulty finding employment. And so, yes, so that would be the process. They would share the brochure. Oftentimes the employer will call Department of Labor, we'll ask more questions, and it's a free-flowing process where we talk story and explain the federal bonding and why it's such a good thing for everyone. Yeah.
And it's good because it gives the employer assurances that if this person like steals from my restaurant,
Yes, they're insured. They're insured. Yes, so they get an insured, they can get a payment if the bond is, if the person commits something, which has not happened.
Oh,
And, you know, and also it makes the employer, you know, like probation, right? Like 3-month probation, or when you're joining a job, it's trust, right? All of that, and so for most individuals, that's what they do.
For some reason I thought it was going to get $5,000.
Only if something, only if
Go
a
wrong.
claim is, yes.
Oh,
only-
okay,
yeah.
So Denise, I have a question because we work very closely with our employers that are coming through as on-the-job training employers, like Roy over there with Mr. K, so I can see Roy's mind going, and I don't want to get no calls from Roy about bonding. So I just want to make sure that Roy's in this building with me. How does that work? Because he sends a lot of people to us, and we filter right through for OJT. Can he do bonding too? Like, how does that work when they're in the agreement with us for on-the-job training? Is it after they hire them on full-time then?
Yes.
Okay, so after the.
Well, not after they're hired, but it has to be.
After we're done with the 3-month on-the-job
Yes,
training.
and then it would be before they start. So this process has to be before the initial start date.
Even before they come to us for OJT, because
Yeah.
we start.
But if they done well during OJT, why would you need a federal bond? Because they've passed, 6 months of training, they've done awesome, you wanna hire them. That would be the goal.
So the bond wouldn't be with OJT then?
No,
I mean,
it
from the
wouldn't. The
beginning?
bond is from
After-
the
with
Department
funding
of
from you,
Labor.
okay, so it starts
From
after
this
that?
grant, yes.
Okay.
But definitely, it's a talk story process, and I can definitely get your name and we can talk story about the federal bonding. Because the slideshow for the federal bonding was about 20 pages. So I cut it very short, but yeah. So any other questions? Nope. Okay, so we did want to call on some of our partners in the Career Pathways Committee. They have been amazing with the Going Home Consortium and moving our work with justice-involved individuals forward. So I'd like to call Saniva Pota with the Goodwill Industries. And Saniva, my question, how are you folks serving our justice-involved individuals?
So a lot of people hear Goodwill, right? And what do you think? You think of the store, you think of retail, you think of the donations, you think of all of those things. What Goodwill actually is, our industries, it's a mission-oriented nonprofit designed to put people into career pathways. So all of the donations that come through the retail funnel our employment services programs. The funding that we receive through WIOA funds, through county, through state, through many of our entities, funnel through our mission services programs. So it's very tricky because Goodwill is everywhere. We do many different things. So I'm gonna start off by first saying that I'm gonna speak specifically to the reintegrating population. So one of the contracts that we have at Goodwill, and again, I'm representing Ray Salidares, the director. He currently manages the reintegrating contract. He cannot be here today, so I'm gonna share a little bit about what that means. So we specifically focus on our justice-involved individuals. Every month, we collaborate with Halinani, the furlough center. We go in there. All the services that Denise and Kevin spoke of, the career readiness, the employment piece, we teach that to the furlough cohort that is coming out and reintegrating into the community. So that is one entirely separate program that is not operated out of the American Job Center. Goodwill has several different locations. And so that specific one is operated directly out of Goodwill offices. And again, managed by an entire different staff and crew. And so we take that model though, through the reintegrating program, and we filter it through all of the programs that we service. An entirely tremendous contract that we got is with the American Job Center. And so for the past 4 years, Goodwill, WIOA, Adult and Dislocated Worker Program, you'll see 2 different pamphlets in your folder. You'll see our WIOA, Adult and DW, and then you'll see our Olai Kahana. So Olai Kahana is youth. That is where Kevin came through youth services. We have 2 of our youth staff here today, Liana Lynn and Michelle, right there. They work specifically with our youth population. And then we have Moses with the Adult and Dislocated Worker programs. All of us are based at the American Job Center and work together. Olaf functions a little bit differently, but are still present. So you can see the AJC really is an all-encompassing place. The mission is to be that one stop where we all come together. And so what we do at Goodwill is we provide folks with the services they need to get the education and training that they need at no cost, to funnel them through programs such as on-the-job training. You heard me mention Roy. This is a total coincidence that me and Roy are in the same building again. Mr. Case, I will say, Roy has took complete advantage of our on-the-job training program and has went loops and bounds to become approved so he could send folks to us and help with training. He has also been able to retain upwards of 4 individuals full-time. So what we do at our program is bridge the gap. We have participants. They need training. They need access to building their skills. But employment, they need employers. Yeah. And so really, we tackle the problem from both ends. We work with clients, participants, and then we also work with the employers. And we try to make sure that they can come together. And so really that's all we do at Goodwill. I shouldn't say that's all, because it's a lot. But that's the real vision of what we want to do. We really want to make sure that everybody gets treated fairly. And for our justice-involved individuals, me and Moses going to Halinani at least once or twice a month. The folks there are so afraid to talk to us. These are active people in the justice system. They think that they don't even have a place in this society. And it is so sad for us to have to go in there and tell them that they do. They do, and we believe in that. And not only do we believe in that, but we're gonna help them, no judgment. The way in which we treat everybody is the way in which we're gonna treat them. And it is no them, it's all of us. It's a community effort. And so when they start transitioning out, we help them, whether it be through purchasing clothing, equipment, bridging them with people like Roy and many others. We are partnering with upwards of 10 current on-the-job training employers and many more. And so if you are an employer or an agency, many people think have to be a business. We've also worked with nonprofits too. If you are in that situation and you want to take advantage of finding good employees or making sure your employees have this support, then you can definitely reach out to us and we can see how we can qualify you as an employer. Or if you service participants that need access to these resources, then also connect with us. Because again, we're trying to be the solution from 2 ends of the stick here and make sure that we can definitely bridge that gap.
Thank you so much. Oh,
Good.
Anybody have questions for Saliva?
Roy!
Yeah, I just want to attest to the fact that Sadiva's program is a very, very good program. You start off with 3 months, and then if you need more, you need an extension to get them to know another part of the job, then they can extend it for you if that is what we need to do. So I can
Yes.
attest to the program. It's a very good program.
Thank you. And Roy is also in the process of having his other business as an OGT employer. So
Yes.
I can attest to you being diligent about that, Roy. Thank
But the
you.
problem is, there's not much funding, so you guys gotta hurry up because.
Roy's gonna take them all. He called me yesterday already. So thank you, Denise.
And also just to reiterate what Suniva was saying, so our American Job Center has amazing people working there, and they welcome our justice-involved population. So if you have family or friends justice-involved, their kids, their ohana, extended family, let them know about the American Job Center. We are very open and very friendly, and nobody leaves without a service. So I also wanted to ask Lisa Jacobs with Hawaii Literacy. Can you take just maybe a few minutes to share how you service our justice-involved population?
Thank you, Denise. Lisa Jacob, I work at Hawaii Literacy. I'm based in Kona. Our other coordinator is in Hilo. Her name is Terry Lee. It's the same Terry Lee that was on Marilyn's slide to contact about being on the Career Pathways Committee. So it is the same person. And we offer free tutoring for adults, one-to-one tutoring. The reason it's free is because our tutors are volunteers. And we will serve anywhere on the island where we have a volunteer who can meet with someone in a public place. That's really the only requirement, is that you meet in a public place. We do have an office right here in Kona, but several people meet in the library or even at the beach, a pavilion, anywhere. And we work with adults who, for whatever goal they have. We work with a number of people. I heard the GED question. We have a number of people that are studying for GED, and we can work with them, whether they may be taking the class also at Waipahu Community School. It doesn't matter. We can work with them studying in between. We've recently picked up a few learners who are studying to get CNA certification, and we're helping with the book part of that. That's a new thing, but I know there's a great need for that. So it's very client driven. Whatever your goal is, we don't have any agenda. We will work towards getting the people what they need and want. Driver's license, we've helped people study for driver's license tests. So our flyer is in your folder as well with the contact information. I'd be happy to talk to anybody if you have questions about being a volunteer, being a student, anything. Happy to give more information. Thanks for the time, appreciate it.
Thank you. So next on our list, I know we're coming up on, we have about 15 more minutes if I'm not mistaken. So I wanted to call on Lavon Richardson from Blueprint for Change. Just a few minutes to share how you folks are serving our justice.
Hello everyone, thanks for the opportunity to share. Blueprint for Change is a nonprofit that's based on Oahu, and all about advocating for child welfare. Specifically in this grant that I'm working in, it's a Pu'uhonua Wellness, and I like the fact that we're all pushing Pu'uhonua because that's not anything that originated in this decade. So, we've been pushing for a long time for that mentality to seep into the system, which is us, according to my sister Jamie. This grant is a 5-year grant, training folks coming out of prison or anybody justice involved to grow food in soil, on land, and how to make good soil. Some places don't have soil. Some places the soil is junk, teaching them how to make good soil, grow food in soil on land, construct hoop greenhouses, and the hydroponic systems that go in them. And then we just purchased a 40-foot container freight farm. It's called the Greenery S, put out by a company called Freight Farms in Boston, and it's being shipped over here. And so it's a progressive training. It's year-long, sustainable ag, irrigation and fertigation, hydroponic systems, advanced agricultural technology, and greenhouse construction. This Saturday, we're gonna be at Maku'u. We're starting construction on the first hoop house on Hawaii Island for the Maku'u Community Center. So the students are gonna be over there, and we're gonna be laying out the foundation over 3 weekends. And it's a 5-year grant. We're on the 2nd year. We got 3 more years. And we wanna just continue doing the same thing, not only here, but on Maui and Kauai and Oahu. We wanted to start with the neighbor islands first. I don't know why we say neighbor islands, because it makes Oahu the main island, and that just is not real. It's not. And we wanted to bring the funding over here because they get all the money because they have plenty of people, you know, because yeah, that's the way it goes. But anyway, yeah, if you, our flyer is not in the folder, but if you leave an email with Denise them, your email address, I'll send you the flyer. It has a QR code if you have anybody who is interested in the training, the courses, or the training is at night, Tuesday, Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 8 o'clock online. And then, like I said, we have these hands-on practicums, you know, where they actually put the learning to use. Oh, and GED, somebody asked about GED, another program on right across from Ola Brew in Kilauea Avenue, I think, is Native Nations Education Foundation. They have a GED program. Pane'emua, yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we just have 2 more people to, so I wanted to call on Don Dela Cruz, who is with IBEW, and I'm just putting him on the spot, but he and I were having a conversation. And we were having a big time conversation. And I was like, you guys have your Justice Involved, right? And he was like, yeah, we do. And I was like, okay, can you speak a little bit at our session, just for a few minutes? And so, because sometimes we often don't, there's so many resources here, and so sometimes it's hard to know everything that is around us. But we do have our unions that are hiring Justice Involved, so take it away.
Okay, so my name is Don Dela Cruz, and truly, it was just asked to me last minute. This is no lie. But as far as the union is concerned, we have no restrictions of anything. So basically, we hire linemen, electricians, groundmen, telecom. That's one way of getting in if you already have experience. The next one is through our apprenticeship program. And the apprenticeship program, they will ask if you're convicted for 2 reasons. One is placement. Because as an apprentice, you're gonna get placed with a company that you're gonna go work for, okay? What happens is basically some of our companies work at the airport, some will work in the refinery, some work at the power plant. You will be kicked out. That's a guarantee, okay? So those are the things that we do. As far as other than that, nothing. You can be convicted of whatever, you can work wherever you want to without restrictions. Our apprenticeship program, all we require is high school diploma, GED, algebra, and 18 years of age. That's it. Other than that, that's basically it. We'll hire anybody.
So if individuals have questions and they just wanted to kind of talk story with you about, hey, you know, I heard you at that presentation, and so I have someone that, you know, can you talk to them? Or
definitely.
They really are looking at this field, they're Justice Involved. Are you open to that kind of stuff?
Yes,
like,
the best thing to do is call Denise, and Denise will give you my cell number, and you guys can call me directly.
Okay, call Denise then. I'll connect these folks, definitely. But it was important because I work for the Department of Labor, and I didn't know that, what, they can get in, our Justice Involved can get into the apprenticeship program with, you know, not as much of the hoops that they would have to for any other thing. I thought that was awesome to give some time.
And we also have another program called VEEP. It's basically Veterans Electrical Entry Program. We're working with the veterans as well. Before they come out of the service, they'll start doing our program already. So when they come out, you can transition right into the electrical program.
Awesome.
That's the last thing that we have.
Thank you. And then I did want to call on Donna Madrid. I didn't give her a heads up, but I wanted to give her an opportunity. She has 2 flyers in our folder. Amazing things that Hawaii Community College is doing, and I wanted to give you some time for that.
thank you for not giving a quiz. I was eating my sandwich over here like munching. So, yes, in your folders, there's 2 flyers that we were awarded thanks to our grant writer. I have my department chair here, Social Sciences, Professor Claudia Boucher. I was going to give you my last name. And thanks to the support of our community, because when we got notice of this grant, we only had 2 to 4 days to turn in letters of support from the community in order to even be considered. Police Chief Ben from HPD and Tommy Johnson, who is here also, Director of PSD, DLNR, Chief Lawrence Turlock, they all rallied, and because they supported us, we got awarded for these 2 programs. One is in, I'm the associate professor and assistant professor and of AJ, and AJ, which is Administration of Justice. You know, at UH we talk acronyms, so kalamai about that. And there's 2 certificate programs: Homeland Security, which is 13 credits, and Criminal Justice Addictions Professional, which is 23 credits. We're starting this semester, and it's brand new to our college, so we were facing a lot of wrinkles, so to speak, administrative wrinkles, right? So we're still accepting people to come in, if you know of anybody. Now, if they miss the deadlines in the fall, we're gonna bring them in for the spring. What we're offering in the fall, we're gonna offer in summer. So they'll get it. And the beauty of this is, Good Jobs Hawaii will look for placements, job placements. And we all know, especially with Justice Involved, if they're dealing with addiction, being in a treatment is a way for them to remain clean and sober. And I gotta plug this in. Our substance, if you look at the curriculum, there's lots of substance abuse counseling types of courses melded with administration of justice, basics, introduction, ethics. Ethics is very big, right? And we're doing it the old-fashioned way because it's very high touch. A lot of them coming from the workforce, and we haven't identified any Justice Involved yet, but we really would like to tap into that population that are further in their healing, so to speak, because if they're too early, fresh out, might be more traumatizing, right? But we have identified, and we're encouraging in that larger room people to come back in, like the Michelle Kobayashis and Peaches, who's not here, from Justice Involved, that started, it's all about belonging to a community and believing in themselves. And I think Hawaii Community College, we do in public services and social sciences, we do that high touch. To the point where sometimes they graduate, they don't even want to transfer up, they do a different degree and still stay with us, right? So Justice Involved needs that kind of malama. And we can do it, we just need them in the door to allow us to do our magic. But mahalo, if Goodwill, if you guys bring a bunch of Halinani together, we can come in and do like a presentation and just talk, you know, there's something about connecting with people, looking in their eyes and just, you know, pilina, making connections, right, with each other. Yes, and embedding in our substance abuse counseling, we have local residents from Big Island who are substance abuse counselors certified by the Department of Health that use cultural practices in their job. So they're embedding, that all builds the confidence and the self-esteem in the individual. And Hawaiians call that ho'oku'u kaheva. You're working on self in order to do ho'oponopono within family, right? So getting them into that first step. So, you know, give us a call.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, and we did get this student. We just
one more.
Turn award.
Yeah, one more.
For community health worker.
Yes.
That's human services.
Yeah. 30
And that is
scholarships, free tuition,
free
and
tuition,
books.
free books.
Yep.
Who do we
They
contact?
just got
Claudia?
up. Me.
Yeah, the flyer.
Thank you.
10 minutes.
I'm gonna see that for 10 minutes. Okay, we can do some good stuff. So, anyone else, we also have Jason and Sheeta back there, who is also part of our Career Pathways Committee and has been instrumental in the survey that Dr. Marilyn Brown was talking about. Not sure if you wanted to say hello or say anything. If not, we can.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, for drug court, we deal with a lot of justice-involved clients who have severe drug problems. And thanks to Judge Ibarra and the rest of the community who started drug court, we really see career advancement as an important part of the drug court justice-involved person's success overall. That's number one. So thank you guys to everybody who offer programs and support and employees who go out of their way to help this population. So that's number one. Thank you very much. Number two, I just wanted to, I keep coming back to that concept that was shared earlier. I think it was by the councilwoman about securing space. I thought that was really interesting, and I thought that might be something relevant to what we do here in this committee. And I kind of agree with Donna there that it's kind of an opportunity to not only increase career advancement for justice involvement people in our community, but to really value them and to see them as the really key to raising the water level for all justice involved people by providing some key justice involved people the opportunity to be in positions of significant decision making for justice involved. And you know, I think there are quite a handful of amazing justice involved people who can do that for us in our community and can really be the catalyst for improving justice involved people in our community and increasing their ability to have jobs and good paying jobs and all that. So, but anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. So I just want to open it up to anyone in our audience that would like to share. If you guys have any of your projects that you're working on or your feedback or mana'o that you want to share, we open that up for any of you. Don't be shy.
Denise, I'll speak.
Yes, please, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Rosella. I'm the Director of Human Resources here at the Marriott King Kamehameha Kona Beach Resort. So thank you everyone for being here. We so appreciate the turnout and just the commitment to this cause. It touches my heart. Today's kind of the intersection of both my worlds because it's also my privilege to be the chair for the County of Hawaii's Workforce Development Board. And so many of you in this room are also members of the board. So it's so wonderful to see everyone here today. Also, I'm hiring. I have all my jobs here. So if there's anyone that is interested and would like to bring back our job listings to your different organizations, I would be honored. I have my card there as well, so please see me afterwards. Thank you very much. Aloha.
Yes, thank you, Rosella. Anyone else want to share?
I just have a really quick question. I think when Tommy talks about safe, clean, affordable housing, livable wage, healthy relationships, do we have the data that shows a livable wage in Hawaii to afford housing and things like that is upward of 70, 75, 80,000? So when we talk about job training, jobs that we train for, does the Department of Labor or the American Job, or maybe Dr. Marilyn, do we have data on how we track livable wages as opposed to just having a job? You know what I mean? So
I believe we do have statistics at the Department of Labor, and I actually had a packet, and then I said, should I discuss that kind of information today, and they're like, no, they're gonna fall asleep, no. So I didn't bring it, but I do, so I'd love to share that with you. Because it's information that the Department of Labor collects statewide, so.
Isn't the target trying to get jobs that pay that amount of money?
Yes.
And if the trajectory is, even for our justice involved folks, that's where the target is.
Yes, that is the goal. And I think with the trainings that are available at Goodwill Industries and the Hawaii Community College, I think we can get there. Hawaii County, of course, maybe the cost of living is, of course, very different from Oahu or Kauai or Maui. But yes, we definitely want to see them earning a certain level.
How much do they get at the unions? Like if they apprenticeship?
Okay, the apprentices with no experience at all, 18 years old, get in the apprenticeship program, they'll start off at 35% off of journeyman rate, which is $18.73, I think, when apprentices will start off. They'll get raises every 1,000 hours. So it's like 2 raises a year. Plus they go off of the journeyman's rate, which is us. We get a raise $1 a year. So they get $3, or they get 3 raises in a year if they're working consistent.
Or you can have them come Hawaii Community College. And then we make them go, and we tell them come back, because you gotta run the college, because we're not gonna be there forever.
Go work at the college.
That's right. I'm a product of that, like Mo'olelo. That's what I said when I went. I wasn't just as involved, but that is the legacy of Hawaii CC. That's what they do best, is to make people believe in themselves and develop a foundation. And they come back, when they go to UHilo, they come back, visit. And then, you know, Maryland had students just recently graduated from an MSW program. Who created, who created her own nonprofit.
Started with me, transferred up to Maryland.
So it can happen.
It happens.
Okay, last thing, as far as us, the electrical union, we don't pay for any benefits, 0. We don't pay for medical, we don't pay for retirement, we don't pay for annuity.
They used to.
No, we never did. Other unions paid, the electrical union never did that. 0. We only pay 4% of our dues is of our gross. Everything is covered. For your medical and everything, we don't pay 0. I know that for a fact that the rest of the unions pay. Even the state and county is paid.
No,
for
you
medical.
said that.
Huh?
Wow.
That's why you gotta be an electrician.
Wow.
I think we gotta get back to the regular session, so if there's no last questions, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming, and I hope that we showed you that here in Hawaii County, we do have services for justice involved. As you can hear them in the back with all the services that they're talking about. But anyway, we do have services. They just have to access it. Come down to the American Job Center. Come visit us. Thanks, Steve. Go to the ones on our island. They're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you.